What is that?
It's my bone.
God damn it, Cartman!
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Holy shit, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Sick My Balls. Right here on a bunch of different networks, hackerhunting.podbean.com, rotsaladreview.com, of course, on our own personal feed, Suck My Balls on Apple, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Overcast, Touchercast, Breakercast, your mom's cast, YouTube, if you're watching us on video. And if you are watching us on video, you can see that South Park is still the theme for us with our fake green screen, as Scoop is, of course, sitting in a tank top looking sexy with the background there of South Park. And I am in full spirit of this episode, as you'll see the spooky vision, hopefully. If not, Skype will probably cut it off too. So it might just look like I'm sitting in a background full of like a line with, I don't know, Cartman on one side and Cartman on the other. But it is Spookyfish. That is the episode, guys. Season 2, episode 15. Suck My Balls, number 29. And I think we're rocking and rolling. Before we get started, I'm your host, Moses, lives on the West Coast, your boy, Matthew Schaffer. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Matthew_Schaffer. My host here, you can speak to him directly if you'd like on our Twitter at SuckMyBallsPod, as he is known as well. He's willing to go after anybody.
Anybody, I don't even care.
Ladies and gentlemen, Skip Jackson.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Just like to take a moment and say, how are you today? And that, yeah!
He's back. You're back. What's going on, buddy? How you doing today?
Pretty good. You know, having fun out there, riling up the masses.
You're riling up those people.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
For those who are unaware, you can follow us on Suck My Balls Pod. And over the last week, Scoop has managed to cultivate a little bit of a following now. People are starting to follow us more online. And you've also got a lot of controversial nature type of conversations as people are either reacting to what you have to say, which I think is the ultimate idea.
Yes.
I know you're just trying to get people to react, but you are making people converse, which I think is important as well.
Discussions need to be had. Like at this point in time, like if it's calling everybody out for everything and bringing light to everything, then that's what needs to happen. For change to happen, we all need to admit what's wrong. And if you can't admit what's wrong, change won't happen. So until people are able to admit that things are wrong and things need to change, that's when it'll actually happen. So that's what I'm fighting for.
Those are all valid points. And I think a lot of people, including myself, I would either say they commend you or they're also not offended by what you're doing as well, because it's maybe things that need to be said to certain individuals who are not taking into consideration others' individual rights and feelings and whatnot.
Right.
However, in my case, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, most of the tweets that are coming from this Twitter account are
this guy right here.
It's Scoop.
All of the ones I'll take, you know, come at me. Let's go. I'm not hiding. I'm right here.
Scoop is obviously not a troll behind a keyboard. He's also someone who keeps himself in fine shape. And I'm sure if you'd like to meet in a wrestling match or an exhibition with rules, you know, with realities, you know, they're not going to be stupid. Everyone gets to go home tonight to their families. But if you think you would like to partake in some sort of ritualistic combat, Scoop's ready.
I'll be his manager, brother.
When you step into the ring,
I got you for
Scoop
3
Jackson.
minutes. It's 3 minutes of me time.
When you step into the ring with Scoop Jackson, not only are you going to get jacked, well, son, you're going to get
scooped.
Scooped. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, of course, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SuckMyBallsPod. But you're here to get your gaggle and giggle of another episode of South Park, as we've got Spookyfish, which was, as you pointed out before we started recording, was kind of a introduction of Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
But we did get her in the Mecha Streisand episode, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did review that when they had to get the triangles of Zinthar back together.
Right.
Which you can go back and listen to one of our audio episodes. That was part of season 1. That is not available in video format. I did not save all those videos. I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, we're doing audio. And then like all of a sudden, like into season 2, we were just like, we kind of started talking about it. We were like, we should do video. And then I was like, damn, I should have saved those videos. Those would have been great. But that's okay. The audio is all available everywhere. You can go check out any platform. Look up Suck My Balls if you want to hear that review. Maybe we'll go back and we'll do another version of it again at Patreon exclusive down the line. I wouldn't mind.
Just getting fucked up, center shots and, you know, bull after bull trying to like, yeah, I remember this episode.
So,
Got to be from memory too.
Don't even watch it. We just review it pre-ball.
Yep.
Like, no, we review ourselves reviewing it. Like,
there we go.
Stay here, Matt. God, you sucked in season 1 of these reviews. That would be good. Like, have we ever? Like, I wonder if people have done that, like on a podcast, where they've just gone back and reviewed themselves.
I don't think I've ever.
Like, I think we could do that. Like, we should do that for Patreon. Like, we can go back. Like, damn, you sucked here, bro. Why do you say shit?
Like, why are you even talking?
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, you know who wasn't talking a lot in this episode was Kenny. We don't have a lot of what does Kenny say here. And you know what? We so much so don't have a lot does what Kenny say, Scoop, in rare form. I think we should go ahead and get it out of the way. We're going to start with what did Kenny say? All right. Well, in this instance, it has to do with the pumpkin. They are asking Kenny if he brought the pumpkin. Kyle says, it's about time, Kenny. Did you bring the pumpkin? And Kenny says, uh-huh. And Cartman says, well, where is it? Kenny brings out a squash and sets it on the table. And Cartman says, what the hell is that? And he says, it's the only thing I could afford. And that's what Kenny said. There we go. All right. We had to re-record that a couple times there, folks, for those listening when I edit that. Hi, Matt. How's it going? Nice to hear from you again. And I hope you enjoy listening to yourself, fucking weirdo. You fucking weirdo. Let's move on to the beginning of this episode, Scoop. Are you excited to review this episode with me?
This is a good episode. It's a fun episode.
Well, it's the 15th episode overall of season 2. It's the 28th episode overall of South Park. It originally aired on October 28th, 1998. Man.
What is this, our 30th episode?
This is episode number 29. Suck My Balls 29. It even says so on the document that you're looking at.
Man, you right.
Well,
right there. I see it.
Like, spaces up.
Shut up, man. Shut up.
Yeah, so this is episode 29. Episode 30 after this will be a Christmas episode with Mr. Hanky again. So that'll be fun. We'll get to review that. He'll be back. And then episode 31, which is the Gnomes episode. I actually recorded this episode already, episode 31, on location with some other peeps. Now, I haven't checked out the editing of it and to see if it was good. So if it turns out decent, we might air that. If it doesn't turn out decent, then me and Scoot will re-record that. That's just being real. Maybe that'll become like a bonus episode down the line, because it's like with me and my buddy Darren and Darren's friend Kyle, who I just met. Kyle was pretty cool, but he wasn't like a typical Kyle. Like I met one of those other Kyles online. This Kyle was pretty cool. Kyle, he was totally Kyle. He's a pretty cool guy. Played music. He was pretty like into that. Like I just want to like make music to make music. Like I don't want to be famous. That's why I want to do like an undercover band. I'm just like, whoa, that's pretty cool. I was like, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it.
That might go up, but at the very least, Scoop, that does let us stay, kind of an episode ahead. We do like to record in advance to kind of have these episodes to just have them in the can for any emergency situations like we have experienced before.
Right.
But Aunt Flo comes to town in this episode, Scoop.
On flow.
Okay, you know what? We didn't put this down as a dislike, but I can already tell you right now, right off the bat, one thing I don't like about this. What the hell? How come she gives Shelly an entertainment system for the TV?
Right?
What entertainment system? Like,
Some badass too.
right? And then she gives a fucking skit stand a goldfish.
Wow, really? Hey, I love Aunt Flo.
Okay, Shelley, this one's for you. It's a television CD player surround sound home theater.
Wow.
What do you say, Shelley?
Thank you, Aunt Flo.
Okay, Stanley, your turn. Your very own fish.
Oh,
That
fucking
murders people.
goldfish. That murders people. Now, she didn't know about that part, but still, a goldfish, that's what you're going to get, Stan? You can't even get him something cool like, this was 98. She couldn't have got him a Lame Boy or a Okama Gamosphere #1 or a game for the Okama Gamosphere. Something.
Right? Something, dude.
Just, it bothers me that she got him a fish. Well, she gets him a fish, but before we get that, that's the main storyline here is because, you know, he gets an evil fish, and Cartman has a parallel version of himself enter into this storyline here. So at the bus stop after school, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny are discussing the pumpkin carving contest and how they should enter. Now they realize that Cartman is not at school again. So they're wondering, you know, what's going on. Now Cartman shows up. And in this instance, makes no sense, and the boys don't really question it. I mean, I guess they kind of do, but they don't really question it for long. Cartman has a beard, which is just weird for an 8-year-old in any form of cartoon.
Right, just a little bit. You know, I would notice it.
As Scoop is getting lightening up here.
Right,
And
I would notice that on one of my friends as they walk up. It's like, dude, you're 9. Why do you have a goatee like that? What the fuck?
dude, you're 9. No, that's funny. No, that's good. I like that. It was very, very awkward to say the least.
Right.
And they looked at him as well. They were like, "What?" And then he tells the others that he couldn't come to school because he was looking up after his mom because she was ill. And then he also
Take care of the house.
right, he's taking care of the house. And he also asks if any homework was assigned. And the boys like look really shocked, confused, and they're like, what?"
What?
Like, who is this Eric Cartman? Which, I mean, in truth, we didn't know at the time. You know, during the original airing of this episode, when you watched it, for all we know, Eric was just wearing a Halloween mask.
Right.
What was your
Right.
initial thought when you watched this episode? Like, oh my gosh, what kind of Eric Cartman is this? Or you were just like, oh, this is totally a fake Cartman.
No, I think it's totally fake Cartman. Well, not, but like a different Cartman. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to say because I don't know.
Just want to let you know this podcast is sponsored by Black Cherry Kool-Aid. Black Cherry Kool-Aid. It's delicious.
Also by Sprite. Sprite, give me Sprite.
No,
No,
we're
I'm
not.
just kidding.
No, we're not sponsored by Pepsi. Kool-Aid though, yes, it's OG. You know what I'm saying?
I think Sprite is Coke.
Whatever. Same big companies.
Sprite is bomb. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Whatever. Drink Kool-Aid. Less.
Wait,
You moderate your sugar and know how much you put in. Mr. Nutrition guy, you know that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at his shoulders. He's a beast.
Mm.
Look at. Why don't you go and flex for me? me that.
Ooh.
Oh, that's Tom out down now. That's Tom out down now. That part will only be for the YouTube guys. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll hear me and pointing at myself say this. Otherwise, on the podcast, they won't get this. So, as we mentioned, Cartman also states that he wants the homework assigned. They're dumbfounded. They bring up the fact that there is a pumpkin carving contest, and Cartman offers to get money so they can buy a pumpkin. But meanwhile, at the same time, then I think is it at that point then the other Cartman shows up, or was that later?
I think it's later.
Okay,
Right?
So
It's
the
later.
first. Okay, so first we go to the Marsh residence and we see Aunt Flo, and she's come for her monthly visit. Now, let me say that again, ladies and gentlemen. At the Marsh residence, Sharon's aunt comes to visit. Now, her aunt happens to be named Aunt Flo.
Yeah.
Aunt Flo Kimball, I guess, is the full name if you look up on South Media. And it says that she's come to stay for a monthly visit. She gives Shelly, like we mentioned, a large stereo system,
which is like badass looking. Like I think she didn't even say like it was like projector or something.
Yeah, like you can project. It's like a full-on television in a box, is what it was back then.
Yeah.
Did
Pull
you ever
that
have
goldfish for Stan.
Do you have a surround sound system at your place at all?
Yeah, my dad was a pretty big nerd too, so but he was like cool, you know what I mean? So he had this sick ass Bose sound system in the house where there's like speakers behind you. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's like 8 speakers and one big ass bass. It was pretty sweet.
Okay.
It had like a radio player. It had like 2 tape players in it. It was like a 6 CD changer. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty sweet. Auxiliary, hooked up to the TV. That's sweet.
All right. Here we go. I was just gonna say, do you have one now? Do you have any type of surround sound system at your pad?
No.
Oh, come on. You don't even have the Walmart $40-$50 brand.
Oh.
You gotta get that Dura brand, dog. You know what I'm talking about? The silver ones. Dura brand.
Yeah, I
Gotta
know
get
what
that
you
Dura
got,
brand,
man.
dog. Gotta get that Dura brand at least. At least have you some Dura brand, dog. Now, unfortunately, I live by myself and I have a 60-inch television. And the way I have it positioned at the foot of my bed, I don't really need surround sound because the speaker's at the front. So it's so I'm pretty good. But if if I was gonna put it in my living room here, I would definitely get some surround sound set up if I was going to set that up. But I kind of like having just kind of like a studio type of open feel to it.
Excuse me.
That's what happens when you're single, though, Scoop, not when you're tied down.
Yeah, whatever.
At Stan's house, first, later on, Cartman shows up, but now he doesn't have the beard. And the boys are like, well, where's the money? And he's like,
I ain't getting you got no money.
He's like, I ain't got no hell of money for you. That's a common theme throughout this episode is the R Cartman, as you might say, or this reality's Cartman. His catchphrase for this episode is hella. 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 That's hella gay. That's hella stupid. Why the hell would I do that? So he says that he would not do that. And he said, but it was funny though, because I think when he shows up, they're like, well, and he's like, well.
Here he comes. Hey, Carmen, did you bring us money from your mom?
Yeah, right. You guys can kiss my black ass.
You said you could get us money, Cartman.
Man, you guys are hella stupid. If I had money, I wouldn't give it to you, assholes.
Well, at least he's back to normal. Yeah, but we can't get a pumpkin, so we can't enter the carving contest.
It's okay. Kenny said he'd get one. Oh, how's Kenny gonna get one? He's hella poor.
Why do you keep saying hella, fat ass?
'Cause I'm hella cool, that's why.
Well, what?
Eh?
What do I look like, Maury Povich? Or what are you expecting, Maury Povich or something like that? And then at Stan's house now, the boys are beginning to carve a squash because Kenny brought, as we mentioned, a squash or a to be a jack-o'-lantern. That's all he could afford. So Cartman's like, dude, I'm like,
God, I hate you, Kenny.
and then as he walks out of the room, no, he goes out to get a knife. And then all of a sudden, another Cartman comes in with the beard, and he's got a knife. And then they start carving, and he starts singing, "You guys are my best friend. Just forget it."
No, Kenny, you should cut with the blade facing away from you. You're gonna hurt yourself. There you go. Isn't this fun, you guys? Carving pumpkins for Halloween. You guys are my best friends, through thick and thin. We've always been together, we're 4 of a kind, having fun all day, palling around and laughing away. Just best friends are we. I love you guys.
Nobody better.
Oh yeah, nobody better.
Nobody better. So it was pretty good. I enjoyed this singing by Eric Cartman, and alternate reality, Cartman. The boys are freaked out of naturally because you're like, what the frick is going on?
And so you at this point, this is where you definitely know like there's two different Cartmans now. It's like you can definitely tell like there's no other Cartman playing this off at this point.
100%. Because also that now back to Stan's house. So Stan's got this fish, right? And this is I guess you might say the main story here. We kind of wanted to establish a side story there with Evil Cartman, but the main story is that Stan gets this fish that's evil. So initially, it's at nighttime. He's laying in bed, and he's kind of just freaked out by the fish. So he just puts a T-shirt over it, and then it kind of gets closer and closer, and he screams and he wakes up in the middle of the night. And his mom comes in and trying to tell his mom that his fish is freaking him out. Tells him to go back to sleep. So then he covers it with a T-shirt again.
Where's the T-shirt?
I don't know. First he went to sleep. That's what it was. And then he screamed again because like the fish freaked him out. And then he was like, where's the T-shirt? And then he saw the T-shirt was on the ground. And then he's talking. The fish gives him like a message or something like that. Do you remember what the first message was? So Stan at 1:30 in the morning, he's under the covers looking at this fish now. After a long while, the fish turns around and starts like writing something on the tank with his tail. So Stan gets out of bed for a closer look, and then the fish finishes writing. It blows on the wall of the tank, and it spells out "kill." And then Stan screams like "ah!" And then Sharon comes in, and Stan's like, the fish, and she looks over at the fish tank, and there's nothing there. And then she looks over. Is that what it is? No. She leaves. Stan gets back into bed, and then another flash of lightning happens, and Stan sits up, and he looks at the tank again, and then he looks down from his bed, and he sees that there's a growing pool of blood, and there's a dead body.
Yeah.
So his mom comes in now, and she's like, "Oh, my baby, my baby,
My sweet baby, you're so good. You're a good boy."
Yeah, she's kind of freaking out. Mommy's little angel. It's going to be okay, honey. I've got such a good boy. Such a good boy. And then it happens again. And then she comes back in and says the same thing. And Stan says to the fish, "You're not going to get away with this." And then the fish breathes on the tank and communicates again. "Yes, I will." Well, yeah, unfortunately, that fish is out to get Stan. So that's pretty much the main storyline, is that we've got this evil fish, which will turn into evil animals here. Because after the mom is now burying the bodies, the next morning, after many more deaths, Officer Barb Brady knocks on the door, and Sharon Mars answers the door, and he shows him a picture of the two people she killed, as well as what looks to be William Shatner, picture of him. No reason, no recollection, but apparently in the backyard, she's got 5 holes buried, but we only saw 2 deaths. Did you notice that?
Right.
So that was a little weird, but maybe that frame was out of place, or maybe there was just too many deaths, you know what I mean? Maybe that scene should have come later when Kenny died, and when the other people died, because doesn't the fish kill Aunt Flo? Yeah, when we get there. So like I think this Officer Barb Brady scene might have been out of place. However, after many deaths, Officer Barb Brady comes in and asks Miss Marsh if she knows anything about it. After he looks around, she takes him captive, which was interesting because they're in the backyard, and he's so stupid he doesn't see anything wrong with the backyard. He's like, "All right, nothing looks out of the ordinary here." And just as he's in the middle of saying that, she hits him over the head with a shovel.
It's like, why you gotta do that?
It's like, that's fucked up. So she takes him captive in the basement for fear of him taking Stan away. So now Cartman shows up at the bus stop and tells the boys he can't be there since the bearded Cartman is also there. Basically, they're like, "Wait a minute, how are you here when the bearded Cartman is also here?" And Cartman's like, "Holy shit."
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's hella cold out here. Cartman? Who'd you expect, my Povich? God, you're hella lame.
What are you doing?
What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm just standing here. Jesus, mellow out, you guys.
You can't be standing there, Cartman.
Why the hell not?
Because you're standing over there.
Ah, son of a bitch.
So we've got the first interaction of parallel universes, if you will, between Cartman A, our Cartman, and Cartman B, that's being the beard Cartman. So the boys then try to figure out what is going on in the universe. They go to school and they ask the lovable chef, right? That's the very first thing the boys are going to do. Chef looks like he's dressed up like some sort of like, I'd say a native African warrior, maybe. That's the kind of vibe I was getting from his outfit.
Yeah.
Which I liked it. It was pretty cool. Like he had like a leopard print and half of his face was painted. And then he had like a cool like headdress on. So it was interesting. And then he asked the chef's all trying to explain like the specials in spooky spaghetti and all these like it's all trying to be in the theme of a Halloween, right, in his costume. And the boys are all trying they're like, chef. And then he's like, what? He's like, we got bigger problems. And they're like, what? And then he just kind of points to the right. And then the chef notices that there's 2 Cartmans. And he's like, oh my God, children. So he gives them the advice they need to backtrack and find out what's causing this. So there's got to be some sort of portal that's unleashed this alternate reality, right?
Right. Right.
So Stan puts
Chef.
right coming through. So Stan puts it together now, man. That wait a minute, my fish probably has something to do with this. So let's go return this fish. So first, the boys take the goldfish back to the pet store after they go home. Now, when they go back to Stan's house, the goldfish keeps killing because the goldfish gets out Aunt Flo. Because in the middle of where they're finding out where this fish was purchased, they ask Aunt Flo, where's the fish bought? Where's the fish bought? And they turn their back, and then the fish kills Aunt Flo. And then the fish kills Kenny. So she buries them in the backyard. So there's your 5 bodies right there. Do you get what I'm saying? That's why I think that still frame of the backyard was out of context.
Just a little bit.
Or the at least the entrance of Barb Brady was, like he should have came in after this scene, and then she could have locked him up. That would have made more sense to me personally, because then you have your 5 bodies that she killed.
I see what you're saying.
But she apparently's got a Barb Brady down in the basement. You've got Randy. He goes down into the basement.
Yeah, he hears him singing. What song is he down there singing?
I don't remember.
Some about sunshine.
So he's in the basement singing, and Randy goes down there. Well, first he goes down there, and then he sees Officer Barber, and Officer Barber's like, "Hello, Mr. Marsh," and then and then Randy leaves, and he goes, "See you later."
See you later, Mr. See you later.
Hello, Mr. Marsh. Top of the evening to you. Okay, boy, then.
He's like, he doesn't even care. He's just all nonchalant, he's shackled. So he walks upstairs, Randy, that is, and he goes to Sharon, he confronts her, and he's like, Sharon?
Sharon?
Yes, hon?
There's a policeman being held prisoner in our basement.
Yes, hon. I had to restrain him so we wouldn't find the bodies in the backyard and take our baby away.
Why'd you take his pants off? Sharon, why'd you take his pants off?
Why is Officer Barb Brady in the basement being held captive? And she says, "Well, gotta protect our baby. Our baby's not gonna go to jail."
Why doesn't he have any pants?
But what doesn't he have any pants? And she continues to try and talk, and he says, "But no, but seriously, why doesn't he have any pants on?" And he eventually tells her, "Why don't you backtrack and tell me the whole story of what's going on? What the hell is going on?" So while that's going on, regular, or I guess, positive Cartman, aka evil Cartman B, has had a good effect on the other boys as they decide to go ahead and do the pumpkin anyway, the squash. They enter it and they've they decorate it up with Now, what they don't realize though is after trying to take the pet store fish back, is another parallel. Stan and Kyle are going to enter into the picture as they figure out the fish has been killing people. They take it back to the Indian store, the Indian burial ground store. It's built on an Indian burial ground.
That's the
And
name of the store, right?
Right,
Indian
right.
Burial Ground
Pet store.
Store.
Yeah, so they bring it in and like they're like, "Sir, what did you do when you built this Indian pet burial ground?" And the guy's like,
Dude, why is your store called the Indian Burial Ground Pet Store?
Well, there was an Indian burial ground here before I bought it.
So you just built your store on top of Indian burial ground?
Oh, hell no! First, I dug up all the bodies, pissed on them, and then buried them again upside down.
Why?
Why? I don't know.
"Well, first I dug all the Indians up, then I pissed on them, then I buried them back in upside down." "Well, why'd you do that?" "Well, I don't know." Such a desecration, bro. Oh.
So bad.
So bad, bro. So bad. Not good, my man. Not good. Well,
Not good.
from there, they decide to confront him further and tell him, "Look, man, you can't do this. You gotta you gotta take responsibility for your actions." And the guy's like, "Wait a minute, you want to return your fish, don't you?" And they're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Let me guess, it killed people." And they're like, "Yeah, how did you know?" He's like, "You're the 8th or 9th customer this week." And you look around the pet store and these pets are
nothing but demonic pets and everything, right?
they're all possessed.
Right. Just nasty, mean, demonic looking pets.
And they're like, you're gonna take this back. Like, you're gonna take this store, you're gonna take this quack 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 quack. You're gonna take ribbit, right? You're gonna take this evil pet back. And he's like, "Hell I am." And he's like, "Sure." And Cartman, like the positive card, "Sure, you can't just say this type of animals. You have to have a little sign." You have to have
this.
Listen, friend, you can't sell people pets like this. You have to have a sign that says, "Warning, these fish are from an evil parallel universe." Now, it's not our fault you disrespected the bodies of this land's native peoples, but by golly, you're gonna take this fish back.
You have to have a little sign that says these pets may be possessed or something.
You can't just do this.
You can't just say it like that. And they're like, "Whoa, dude." Stan and Kyle are like, "Whoa, dude. Like this, we like this Cartman. He's making some fucking sense, right?" So, well, they eventually do get the guy to take the fish back. And then afterwards, they're like, "Why did you built this on the Indian burial ground? Have you noticed anything weird?" And he opens the door. And they're like, "No. First, they said, we're looking for a portal." And he's like, "Oh, is that what this is?" And he opens the door, and like, it's the force of it, like, is like, has his hat sucked off, his hair is flowing. "I was wondering what this was." And it's like a giant portal.
We think that when you did that, you opened up a doorway to an evil parallel universe.
Well, that certainly would explain a lot.
Like what?
Well, like this. I've been wondering what the hell this was.
That, like, he's not said anything to anybody about, and he's also not tried to go through himself. Like, let me ask you this, Ian. If you had a portal that just popped up in your house, would you try to go through it? If you had some Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe shit, would you jump through it, brother?
Yeah, probably. Would you?
Hell yeah, brother.
Right? You know what I'm saying? I'd call you and be like, "Yo, let's go. Found a portal. We're going." See what happens. See where we go. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Would it be smart to try and send a note through it first or something? Make sure that we're not going to, like, decompose and die?
Nope.
We're just going to do it?
Gonna do it.
What if we die, though?
Send an apple through.
All right. I got to think. That's what I'm saying. You got to throw something through. Maybe hopefully something comes back.
Finger. Comes out, it's all bone. It's like, yeah, all right, we're not going.
Actually, the smart thing to do would be like a giant stick or something. Or something, like a rod, and see what happens when you put that through the field. I mean, that would be see how if it decomposes matter or something. I don't know. I'm not a scientist here. So after they leave the fish at the pumpkin, I'm sorry, at the Indian Ground Apparel store, they leave the fish to go pumpkin carving contest where they win. Now suddenly the bearded Stan and Kyle show up through the portal themselves. They're like, that fat boy was just here because they're looking for their version of Cartman. Now in their universe, they're the assholes and Cartman is the nice kid. So they're like terrorizing the pet store owner, like, where is he? And the pet store owner's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And they let all the animals loose. So now all the animals are like destroying the town. Like they're fucking everything up, bro. And like they're like walking down the street and they look at it and then they keep going. That being Stan, Kyle, and positive Cartman. So Cartman has explained to them about his annoying counterparts and that they have gone looking for him. Now, normal Stan and Kyle get the transportation to the parallel world device off the counterparts, and they eventually send them back because this breaks down in a fight in the crowd so they're in the middle of like this Halloween fest, right? And the mayor is giving a speech, and then all of a sudden you see like evil Stan and evil Kyle running through the crowd with Cartman because when they go to get Cartman, what they think is their Cartman, like they try to apprehend him, and Cartman slaps them. Get the hell out of me!
Aha! There you are, Cartman. Nice costume, you guys. You spent about $1.50 on those. We're here to take you back, goody two-shoes. Oh, I've got a better idea. Why don't you two go fuck yourselves?
Hey, what's wrong with you, Cartman?
What's wrong with me? Let's see. I hate you guys. You're hella stupid.
Come on, Mr. Wholesome. We're taking you back to our universe.
Don't touch me.
I was like, yeah, you tell him, Cartman. I'll never fucking touch you, dog. And they're like, whoa, wait a minute. Our Cartman would never hit us. Who are you? And he's like, oh, you're looking for that other pussy? It's like, let's go. I'll show you to him. So they go to the festival, and in this festival, they're trying to take out the regular Cartman to his universe. However, in this instance, Stan and Kyle apprehend I guess it might be like a phaser gun or whatever it is, a portal gun. It was a modern day. It was a Rick and Morty portal gun, dude.
Yeah.
South Park did it first.
South Park did it first. I think What's Their Nuts and What's His Nuts, I think they're both fans of South Park. Maybe. I think I remember that from an interview with them, and they were talking about that, and I think that they said that they were fans of South Park. So
I just want to point that out that South Park did it here in season 2, that they created some sort of portal gun in their animation. So they might not have been the first to make a portal gun, but they were the first, it looks like, to do it here, right? In my opinion. I don't know. You tell me. Because they zapped away, Stan and Kyle zapped away the evil Stan and Kyle, and then they were going to zap away their version of Cartman. They're like, sorry, fat boy, we don't like you. We're getting rid of you. We're keeping the other one. And Cartman ends up ripping the evil beard off. So now you've got 2 identical looking Cartmans, and Cartman ends up tricking them. It's like he ends up like saying like, you know what, we don't have enough time. Not enough time for this. Just go ahead and kill one of us quickly, or kill both of us. Otherwise, everything will be destroyed. And then they realize that he's got to be the nicer Cartman. So they send the other Cartman, and that Cartman's like, screw you guys, as he's getting. So it makes you think for a moment that they got the right Cartman. But then all of a sudden they go, how did you know it was him? And they say, well, the normal Cartman would never say that. And then he goes, hey, you guys are hella stupid. I knew you would do that.
Stupid.
You guys are hella stupid. I knew you fell for that. And then all of a sudden in the basement, we see Barnaby being freed by Randy, as it's revealed that, of course, Sharon comes to the conclusion that her son did not kill all those people. It was the pet stores. And that, I believe, is how the episode ends, yes?
Yep.
Because
can confirm.
Right, because after more deaths, Officer Brady asks if Sharon knows anything about it. And there was nothing else. That's pretty much it, bro.
Just leave me to my dignity.
All right. Randy shows up. He was going to give it. He goes, do you want your pants? And he
Just
goes,
leave
"No."
me to my dignity.
And then he walks out in the middle of the street. He goes, "Now move along, everyone," as he's got no
Nothing to
pants.
see here.
Nothing to see here. All right, guys. Well, that was the full episode recap. Let's get into some underlining tones and trivia. So I don't know if you noticed, but Stan's treehouse from the episode Clubhouse was seen when Bard Brady was smashed by the spade shovel. You didn't get to review that episode with us? Did you like that episode of Clubhouses?
The South Park episode?
Yeah.
It has its moments where it's really funny. It's a pretty good episode. It might make the top 100 for me.
Okay. Afterwards, we got the tiny alien that was run over by Mrs. Crabtree in the beginning of the episode. Is also end up seen in the Starvin' Marvin in Space episode and in the Goobacks episode.
Okay. Oh shit.
And if you don't know what the Goobacks episode is, the Goobacks episode is, well, that became probably one of... Well, I wasn't going to say that, but yes. I was going to say the Goobacks episode is famous for probably one of South Park's now notorious catchphrases. They took our jobs! They took your jobs! So that's where this alien ends up being. It's also seen in Les Petites Tourette, but it's a toy in the store Cartman is at. And it's also seen in the beginning of the episode Canceled, eating in the alien cafeteria. So they sure use this alien a lot.
Yeah.
Now Kenny's house is shown to leak and have power outages during thunderstorms. In the evil parallel universe, Cartman is nice, as we mentioned, and Stan and Kyle are mean. Apparently, Kenny is rich, and he's also a skinny white insurance salesman.
What?
Fuck? How is he an insurance salesman at their age? Or how are they friends with this version of Kenny? It's so weird. Didn't Cartman at one point in this episode mention that Chef in the other parallel universe was like a white insurance salesman?
Yeah,
Too?
he was a white something.
Yeah, it's weird. Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Chef is a skinny white insurance salesman. Kenny is rich and has a car. That's what it is. And Chef is a white, skinny insurance salesman. So weird, man. Well, the running gag, of course, throughout this episode is Sharon burying bodies in the backyard and becoming sensitive of Stan thinking it was him that killed the people when it was actually the fish. I'm such a good little boy. Such a sweet little boy.
Such a good little...
I don't know if you noticed, this was also the first episode where Stan was wearing pajamas in an episode. Now, it does show that Sharon goes through different mood swings whenever her and Aunt Flo come to visit, as well, making Randy sleep on the couch. She makes Randy sleep on the couch. I have to go sleep on the couch tonight. She only comes in for 5 days. I mean, we haven't really touched on that, but South Park definitely did make it satirical, I guess you might say, comparison that Aunt Flo is supposed to and Sharon's period, her menstrual cycle. And back in 1998, it definitely wasn't joked about as much, and I would say I think comedy more or less satirized it as kind of a bad thing. You know what I mean? They satirized the women's menstruation cycle as something that was horribly wrong, when realistically, like, that's just a normal thing. So
Right.
just as guys, I guess poop and fart and ejaculate too, like every other person. So the entire episode was shown in Spookyvision. Now, this was, of course, with every frame having the words written around the edges of the screen and pictures of Barbra Streisand in four corners. Now, this is the response to the May 1998 interview Barbra Streisand had with Marabella magazine, where she commented on her portrayal in that South Park episode, Mecha Streisand. She stated, "I enjoy satire and parody, but I wonder if shows like South Park and Beavis and Butthead don't add to the cynicism and negativity in our culture, especially in the children."
She couldn't handle it. She couldn't handle it.
Right. Now, the alien creature that emerges from the spaceship at the beginning of the episode as well resembles kind of one of the xenomorph aliens common in the Alien franchise. The Cartman doppelganger and the majority of the plot elements revolving around his character are a parody of Star Trek's episode Mirror. Mirror, which aired October 6, 1967. The episode was the first in Star Trek franchise to introduce the concept of parallel worlds. It featured a mirror world where the Federation was evil, and each crew member of the Enterprise had an evil doppelganger, including, well, you know the rest. It featured a mirror world where the Federation was evil, and each crew member of the Enterprise had an evil doppelganger, including Mr. Spock. Now, the Spock duplicate had a beard, much like the Cartman doppelganger in this episode. I forgot about that. Spock had a beard, the evil Spock. The boys mocked the doppelganger's Cartman by asking him if he's dressed up like actor Luke Perry. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Luke Perry was best known for his role in the original Beverly Hills 90210, which actually is the real zip code. Sorry, go ahead.
Did he have a problem with drugs or something at one point? Because I remember like he was like super famous, and then something happened. I don't know what happened. Was there something like controversial around Luke Perry? Did something happen with that dude? I'm sorry, I just cannot remember.
I don't believe so, because Luke Perry had a son. I think that's what it was. Is he just went and had a son, and he went and became a dad, because his son's a pro wrestler now. He's like 21, 22. Well, Onflo, as we mentioned, is personified as a parody of menstrual cycle. Cartman begins using the phrase hella, which is actually has its origins in San Francisco's Hunters Point neighborhood. It is slang term meaning very or really. The goldfish writing the word kill on the fishbowl is a call to the Star Trek episode The Devil in the Dark, where an alien of the Hortian race writes, "No, kill, I." When Sharon believes that Stan is murdering people and tries to cover up for him, she says, "I've got such a good boy, Mommy's little angel." That's actually a parody of a similar scene from 1956, the movie The Bad Seed.
A lot of parodies.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Now, when Stan tries to explain to Sharon that the fish killed people, not him, Sharon begins singing that variation of the traditional children's lullaby, "Hush, Little Baby." Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna bury the bodies in the backyard. When the boys ask Cartman why he is at the bus stop, he responds sarcastically by asking them if they were expecting talk show host Maury Povich. Maury Povich? When Cartman and his doppelganger are seen side by side, there's actually kind of a visible line. I don't know if you noticed this, that went down the middle of the screen. Now, this is actually a nod.
It's on your screen.
Yeah. Well, this is actually a nod to, it is, yeah, if you're watching this on video on YouTube. This is a nod to the old film splicing effect that they used to be done to make an actor play two roles and appear to be standing side by side. So it was a process. If it was not done properly, you would see that line. Now, they did this on purpose, obviously. As they even at one point have Kenny being like unevenly placed between the two lines, like Cartman is on a lower playing field throughout the episode. It's kind of funny. One of the photos of the missing people that Officer Barb Brady, as we mentioned, showed is Charles T. Kirk of Star Trek. So a lot of references, a lot of parodies here. A couple more things here, guys, and then we're almost done. When Officer Barb Brady is bonked on the head with the shovel, he says the phrase, "Tennis anyone?" This is actually a cliche joke phrase that Humphrey Bogart used to use on Broadway. One transition scene in the third act features Barbra Streisand's head quickly zooming towards the screen as a sound effect from Super Friends is played. Before we started this episode, Scoop wanted to use the background of a giant Barbra Streisand face. It is very freaky. When tied up in the Marsh's basement, Officer Barb Brady sings the song "Blue Tail Fly," aka Jimmy Crack Corn and I Don't Care, Jimmy Crack Corn and I Don't Care. Now, this song originated I don't know if you know this, from an 1840s minstrel show, and it eventually became adopted as a popular American children's song. Take a minute. Let's take a second and think about that again. Jimmy Crack Corn, that song originated from an 1840s minstrel show. All right, let me read that over to you again. Jimmy Crack Corn is a song that originated from an 1840s minstrel show. Now, Scoop, with everything that's going on in the world, why don't you explain to the audience what a minstrel show is?
The minstrel show, or minstrelsy, was an American form of entertainment developed in the early 19th century. Each show consisted of comic skits, variety acts, dancing, and music performance that depicted people specifically of African descent.
Now, interestingly enough, back then, Scoop, if they didn't have African Americans, did you know that then they would
was mostly performed by white people in makeup or blackface for the purpose of
Blackface.
playing the role of black people.
Exactly.
There are also some African American performers and black only minstrel groups that formed and toured. What?
Well, yeah, at that point, like there was black minstrel groups because they had to take advantage of the situation. Like some smart African Americans were like, well, hey, we can travel and just be, this way, and then we don't necessarily have to be on a farm. That's smart.
Minstrel shows lampooned black people as dim-witted, lazy, buffoonish, superstitious, and happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not a good period for American history. And as you can see, that goes all the way back to the 19th century.
And it lasted. Do you know how long it lasted? They didn't stop in
Kellogg.
1960s.
Right, till the Kellogg era. So for those unaware, when I say the Kellogg era, the creator of your favorite maybe cereal, could be Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, was a known racist. And he was a known guy that was like, he said like Kellogg's Frosted Flakes would like help decrease the want or desire to masturbate, I think is what one of his pitches was at one point in time. He was big on trying to prevent people from masturbating. And I got to tell you, I don't like that either. Racism is definitely not good, but you definitely cannot try to prevent people from jacking it. You want to jack it? You jack it. Do it in your house.
Dude. Freedom to jack it.
Freedom to jack it. Do it in your house, dog.
But yeah, do it in your bathroom, over the toilet, so it's easy to clean up.
Something. Or in the tub, I guess.
In the tub. If you're a violent one, do it in the shower.
You're a violent one, do it in the shower. Hey,
Explosive.
I was going to say, as I told you when we were younger, you got to take the challenge, bro. Got to take the challenge. Scoop's shoving his head because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Guys, take the chub challenge when you're in the shower. Figure it out. You'll know. You'll know what I'm talking about. So when Kenny's mother says so anyway, I'm sorry, I don't want to like skip over that, but like interesting enough that Jimmy Crack Corn song is a very racial song. So we probably shouldn't be singing that anymore. Just saying. Especially not in this day and age. I mean, back in 98, I understand, but not now. Which is why we didn't sing it throughout the episode. We only wanted to sing it. I only wanted to like say the lines here when we talk about the context of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when Kenny's mother says later in the episode, so when Kenny dies by the fish, his mom like barges in looking for Kenny, and she's all drunk and shit, and she's like, "You'd be drunk too if you lost your boy." She's all drunk and shit. Now, this is, of course, a reference to that same movie, The Bad Seed. When the pet store owner opens, as we mentioned, the employees only door, revealing that portal to the doppelganger Cartman's world. It's another reference to Poltergeist, which in the film, in the closet, it's Carol Ann's room, has a portal to the spirit dimension. The concept of pets made evil by spirits of deceased Indians derives from Stephen King's novel Pet Sematary, obviously. As we mentioned, there's a lot of references here. Now, apparently the Indians buried under the Indian burial ground shop are a member of the Wampanoag tribe. And this race of natives were not indigenous of Colorado. They actually were more in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So I just want to clarify that. Now, when the kids agreed to carve the squash and enter into the pumpkin carving contest, Stan says, "Yeah, I never thought it was such a bad little squash." Now, of course, this was in reference to the Charlie Brown Christmas with the tree.
I need him tender loving baby.
Now, the rifle, the evil Stan and evil Kyle have that send them back to the evil universe is similar to the phaser rifles of the Next Generation era of Star Trek. So I guess, like we said, we're not saying that South Park was the first show to do it because obviously Star Trek did it, but they were the
Star
first.
Trek did it. Star Trek did it. Star Trek did
But they
it.
were one of the first animated shows to feature it in an episode. Now, of course, Rick and Morty popularized it by Rick being using it and having the ability to go anywhere he wants in the world. As we mentioned, Cartman at the conclusion of the episode tricked the boys into sending the Cartman doppelganger back to his home dimension by saying, "Time is right now. You have to destroy us both." And now this is, of course, yet another Star Trek reference. Now, this time is the episode Whom Gods Destroy. When witnessing a battle between Kirk and shapeshifter Captain Garth of the Azars, Spock is able to tell the two apart when the real Kirk orders Spock to shoot them both. However, these both reference a story as well in the Old Testament of the Bible, where King Solomon has to judge two women fighting over an infant. He orders the baby to be cut in half so that they both have an equal share. One woman agrees with the king's decision, while the true mother said that the other woman could have him. King Solomon then, of course, gave the baby to the true mother. So that was a reference to that as well. So those are our underlying tones and trivia, guys. We're going to wrap up now with our top likes and dislikes, and we'll be on our way.
I knew
Top-
that story.
Huh?
I knew that story.
I think a lot of people know that King Solomon story. It's a very old story. I think they've made fun of it too. I think I've seen it in like Simpsons make fun of it. Simpsons
do that. No, Simpsons do that.
Yeah. So top liked number one, Spookyvision is what you put down as it's set up for later on down the line, Mecha Streisand, right? But this is our second appearance of Barbara Streisand. Number two was the Parallel Cartman. That was my choice. I put that up there. I thought that was hilarious. That there was just a second Parallel Cartman that was really nice. And I kind of want a Funko Parallel Cartman pop now. And for those watching, if you see on the Skype video, maybe you're just picking it up or not, there is a Cartman plushie there in the corner that I was gifted. There's also in the background a Cartman, South Park, like Lego type set. Not Lego, but it's like McCaughlin Builders, whatever, you know what I'm talking about? So I've got one of those. Number three, winning the contest with the squash. They decorated the squash up all spooky with spiders and cobwebs, and well, they won. So it was pretty unique. Number four, the whole parody of Aunt Flo, that being their period. We found that to be kind of funny. And then, because by the end of the episode, did you notice something interesting? By the end of the episode, Sharon was saying, "I'm just so sad that Aunt Flo's not going to visit anymore." Almost like she was saying she's going to start going through menopause or her period's over now.
Right? Is that what that means?
So was the euphemism of the fish killing her period or Aunt Flo that she's no longer going to get periods anymore? Because if you think about it, then later on, in like a horrible way, they put her through menopause with the school shooting. Like that's Randy's all like, you see when thinking that Sharon's going through some sort of menopause because she gets upset that all these kids are dying, which I would be freaking out too. You know what I mean? But interestingly enough, it takes about a decade of seasons to get to that point. So at this point, her period's gone.
She's gone.
She's gone. She can't have no more period.
She cannot have no more.
Number five, you put the fish. This was your top like. Why did you like the fish, Scoop? Explain it.
The fish.
I want to hear.
Because he's the fish, and he's the fish. So his sister gets that badass entertainment system, right? And then he gets this fish. The fish ends up killing people, and it's just like, kill. So you're not gonna get away with this, and he's like, yes, I will. And then he kills Aunt Flo, and then I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
See, that's why I like the fish.
He's the fish.
All right. Well, number six was Cartman tricking them into getting rid of the other Cartman. We both liked that. That was hilarious. Like, obviously, they should have just shot him. Number seven, Barb Brady in the basement. We thought was hilarious with no pants on, as we also mentioned. Randy saying, "Sharon, why doesn't he have any pants on?" Then number eight, the store was on top of an Indian burial ground. And the Indian burial ground owner dug up the dead bodies, pissed in their mouth, and then buried them upside down. Number 9, evil Cartman dropping off supplies to Kenny's house. That, we didn't bring that up. That was hilarious. Just in the middle of a thunderstorm, the evil Cartman shows up in a rain jacket. That would be your Funko Pop, actually.
Hi there, folks. This is a heck of a storm out now. Thought maybe you could use some provisions. There's some candles and food in there. It ain't much, but it should get you through the night. Take care, folks. I've got other houses to get to.
Kenny, wasn't that your fat, racist, foul-mouthed friend Eric Cartman?
Mm-hmm.
Evil Cartman, rain jacket.
With a little box of supplies.
With the little box of supplies. Oh, that would be great. So, yes, he shows up in the middle of this thunderstorm. Folks, just wanted to bring you supplies, just some candles and some food, something to keep you warm and get you through the night.
Kenny, isn't that your racist friend? Your fat racist friend?
Isn't that your fat, bigot, racist friend, Eric Cartman? Yeah. That was what Kenny said, but I didn't really think that was relevant because, like, he had some other short lines. It was like, ow, and yes. Nothing really notable. Now, so our top disliked. I didn't like the fish. Thought the fish was stupid. Thought it was a horrible gift. I thought it was a stupid concept. Why didn't he get a cool pet? Why did he get a fish? It would have made more sense like if he got an evil dog. The evil dog's killing things. But a fish, I didn't like it. Now, I get it for the context of the story because I know obviously it's not believable that a fish would do it. But, you know, give us an iguana, snake. Fish was dumb.
An iguana.
Fish was just dumb. Stan's mom automatically thinks that Stan is the killer. That was one we didn't like. Especially like when it happened so fast, when the second one happened, like, and she has to come back up after burying the dead body. Like, obviously he wouldn't have killed him that fast. Like, do some logic. Logic, mom. Number 3, Cartman using his hella throughout the episode. You didn't like that?
Really? I hated that when it was out in school. I thought it was
hella cool, dog. It's hella cool, dog.
It's hella stupid, bro.
Hella sick, dog. Hella, dog. You know what? I was in like,
gag me with a fucking spoon.
You want to know what? You want to know? Here's the difference. This is how I know you didn't like. Why I know you didn't like that word. You didn't grow up in Cali, right? No, California. Yeah. So I grew up in Cali first 16 years of my life. So this word popped off, and people fucking use this word a lot. Yo, that's hella sick, dog. Yo, you trying to get down on this? Hell yeah. Like, hella was just a word we use. Hella, snap. Kind of come up all these different ways to say.
Oh, snap.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's our episode. Before we get going here, Scoop, did this make Scoop's Top 20?
No.
Oh, okay. Did this make Scoop's Top 50?
Yes.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Didn't make yours, did it?
It doesn't. It doesn't even make my top 100. Top 200.
Yeah. Wanted to be nice.
So, Scoop's 50. Or are you changing your mind now? All right, that's Scoop's top 50. All right.
It's like 101.
You mean Scoop? That would be 100, not 50 then.
Yeah.
Are we changing it? Are you going to be Scoop's top 100?
It doesn't make the top anything.
Oh, really? Doesn't make anything. Well, I guess, I don't know. It just doesn't make anything. That's a weird Scoop's top 50, Scoop's top 100, Scoop's. It makes Scoop's top 200. If it's 101, then I guess it would make your top 200, right?
There we go.
So it makes Scoop's top 200. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Another edition of Check My Balls. You can check out, of course, our sponsors, hackerhumming.podbean.com, ratsaladreview.com. Of course, download us, share us on YouTube. Tell your mom, tell your brother, tell your sister. Hopefully, they're all over the age of 18. Of course, follow us on Twitter at SuckMyBallsPod, where if you would like to interact with Scoop here, you can, because Scoop will interact back with you.
Yes, I will.
You can go on Instagram and you can like our pictures there at SuckMyBallsPod. If you want to be more part of the conversation or you want to send us trolled emails, give us your feedback. Send us an email, suckmyballsgmail.com. I'm your host with the most who lives on that West Coast, your boy MSG. And this has been another exciting edition of Check. bad.